I will appreciate you all for making out time to come. It really shows you want to learn, and that's one of the requirements for success in any field. Bringing out time to learn about what you want to do, what you want to go into, or what you are doing. This is an agricultural training where we'll be discussing fish farming, mainly adult catfish production, catfish processing, drying, and packaging, animal feed production. In the animal feed production, we'll learn how to produce poultry feeds, fish feeds, and snail feeds. Practicals on Saturday. That one will be practicals. Our machine entered yesterday for the practicals. So it will be demonstrated practicals. It's necessary, even if you miss tomorrow's one, don't miss next tomorrow's one. Because we all, for those into maybe poultry and fish, you see how the feeds are skyrocketing in prices. Please. Then tomorrow, next tomorrow we'll do adult catfish production. Sorry, next tomorrow on Saturday we'll do practical feed production and we'll now discuss market segments and advertisements, how to make sales for anything we discuss here, or even for any agricultural business. Then today we'll start with adult catfish production. If there is time, we enter processing and drying. But if there's no time, tomorrow we are going to be doing processing and drying and packaging of catfish and grant application, business grant application. We all know that this country is not easy, but it's possible to survive here. Very, very possible. There are business opportunities everywhere. There are money flowing everywhere. But if you don't know how to get it, you can't get it. If you don't believe you can get it, you can't get it. You must believe, then you gradually work your way towards making it. So business grant is a kind of a free money given to someone to either start a business, grow or expand the business. So it can be given by private organizations, non-government organizations, governments, and other people. Even individuals can get it. So we'll learn about that detailedly tomorrow. But today, we'll be going into adult catfish production. In catfish farming, there are many ways of making money. One is fingerling production. They call it hatching, catfish fingerling production. We will not be teaching that here because it requires serious practicals. But what is involved in it is just like you have chicks, production of chicks for poultry. You have production of fingerlings for catfish. That's catfish seeds, umuazu. So it's very lucrative, but it requires a lot of practicals for you to practice it. But adult catfish production is relatively easy. It's easier. So that's what we'll be discussing now. Many people have already started, but in one way or the other, they are not making profit as they should because they are not getting some things right. Catfish farming is more technical than poultry and piggery. And that's why I commend all of you here. When I learned catfish farming in 2016. After service, when I started, I was going to trainings 2020 from 2019. Even in Lagos, night bus, even entering attachment for to go to trainings in Lagos. But today, I'm better than those years. And I'm seeing that in many of you, that desire to succeed, that passion to succeed. And without that passion, you will not be able to pull through the hard times. That's why you need to keep it up. And when you give birth to children, or for all of us for those that have children, teach them. When they enter the labor market, they will not forget. Even if they forget initially, one day they will remember, yeah, Hannah comes since. This has been what I've been taught since. And the person will move on. So the second area in catfish farming that you make money from is adult catfish production. When you produce market-sized fishes, 1 kg and above, or anything around 1 kg and above. That's where you find your point and kill, your barbecue fishes, your pepper soup, fish sizes. So another area of catfish farming where you make money from is brood or parent stock farming. That's where you produce the parents or the stock you use in hatching, the bigger sizes from 2 kg and above. They usually get up to 1 year. So it's the same process that you follow in adult catfish farming that you use in producing broods or parent stocks. So the next area you make money in catfish farming is fish processing, drying, and packaging. That's where you get the adult fish or the juveniles. You can also process juveniles, small fishes. You can process them, but mostly adult fish is what sells more. You get them, process them. We'll deal detailedly on how to process them later. But the processing is not complicated. Process them and get your dried catfish. You can have omangal and afia. Arira dried. That's fish processing and drying. Then we now added packaging because packaging is everything in business. If you package your business well, you sell well. If you package anything you are selling well, advertise well, both online and offline, you make a wonderful brand for yourself. So please, anything you learn here today or anything you know before, it only requires little innovation and you'll be exceptional. You'll be better than any other person. And that was what I did in my business. That fetched me this training we are doing here today. The grants that was able to sponsor this training today. Please, in anything you are learning, be thinking of how can I improve it? How can I add innovation to it? So the next area of fish farming that people make money from after processing is training. Training. You train people, you establish farms for people, train people that will manage the farm. It's money, it's lucrative. I've gone to Casina to teach someone, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Abia, Igoro, and Abia, to teach people fish farming. And they are doing well. And this is something people are neglecting. But before you train someone, you must know much about it. You must be good in what you are doing. So another area is fish feed production. Fish feed production. There are some people that specialize in production of fish feeds or poultry feeds. Some only for poultry feeds, some only fish feeds. So there are so many areas in this field that you can make money from. Some people even specialize in sales of fish feeds. They open fish feed stores. It's still within fish farming. You sell to people that rear the fish. So today, adult catfish farming involves the rearing of fingerlings or juveniles to get to adult stage. So we'll be going through step by step of it, from the kind of ponds that you use, the kind of fishes to stock, the feeding, changing of water, diseases and mortalities. Let's go. Kinds of ponds used in rearing of catfish. One of them is plastic ponds. They resemble this kind of a GP tank, but kind of half of it. Some of them are built that way, while some you get full GP tank, cut it into two, and use the two sides to farm fish. The next kind of pond is tarpaulin pond. They also call it collapsible mobile pond. This one is good in case maybe you are not the owner of the land where you are staying. When you want to move out, you fold and transport to anywhere you are going to. So the next one is concrete pond. Concrete pond is also good, especially when you are the owner of that particular land. Each of these ponds has its own advantages and disadvantages. I will touch more on them later. We have earthen pond, whereby normal soil like this, usually clay soil or a soil that can retain enough water, you dig it and reinforce the sides of the ponds. Some people even reinforce it with concrete and leave the floor mud. While some people reinforce it with sand-filled bags, just like you are seeing in the picture. So the plastic pond and the tarpaulin pond are mainly used in the hatchery unit. You don't use when you produce fingerlings. You don't use concrete and earthen in the hatching, in hatching of catfish fingerlings. But you use tarpaulin ponds and plastic ponds in breeding. That's catfish hatching. Then in the grow-out farm is where you produce the adult fish. You mainly use earthen pond and concrete pond. Many people still use tarpaulin pond and plastic in grow-out farm. They are all used in grow-out farm. But earthen pond is hard to work in, very hard, because discharging water is not easy. Usually you find a pump. You take a pump and the tank and you get a pump. Why concrete pond is the best? Many people will say it's the best because one, you can construct it to any sizes you want. You can construct a concrete pond that will be as big as here, that will take over 5,000 fishes. It's powerful outlet. Outlet in the sense that it will have a section where when you open the tap, the water will rush out. Then you close it and fill water inside. So concrete pond is easy to wash in, easy to maintain in terms of washing. Then tarpaulin pond is also easy to work in and easy to maintain in terms of washing. So these two are the most used, tarpaulin and concrete. Then, after you must have constructed your ponds, the next thing to do is pond treatment. Pond treatment, you prepare the pond, especially when you use concrete. That's when you treat the pond to remove the harmful effects of the chemicals from the cement. You put water, assuming the pond is as tall as this board, you put water to this level, then get a poultry dung or any dung at all, whether cow, poultry, any dung at all, or manure. You can use NPK fertilizer, put it in a bag, as you are seeing here, tie it and put it inside the water. Leave it for 2 weeks, especially in a sunny environment. Within the 2 weeks, the water will change color green. You see many microorganisms and animals, even maggots, aquatic insects. If you see them, you know that the environment is habitable. If you don't see them, you have to do it again. Thus, you have treated the pond, also called pond curing. After treating your pond, you discharge the water away, because that's the first water. You can repeat the same thing again and leave it for 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, and you see enough maggots and aquatic insects and this mosquito larva, you can now stock your fish. Stock in any sense, you buy fingerlings or juveniles or post fingerlings, any size of fish you want to stock or start with, put it there. The fish will feed on those things. But the first time you are doing it, because of the cement and other harmful chemicals, in the newly constructed pond, you don't need to do it. You pour the water away, so that the fish will not have issue of stunted growth or any adverse effects. So it will not have any adverse effects on the fish. So some people usually fertilize their pond to make the maggots grow in them and other aquatic insects, so that fish can feed on them. So in stocking of ponds, you have different sizes of fish you stock your pond with. You have fingerlings. So the first slide is a typical fingerling. Fingerlings, small fish. Any fish of these sizes are called fingerlings. Then if they are a little bit bigger than these sizes, they are called post fingerlings. If they are kind of bigger, half of this microphone, they are called juveniles. The one that is bigger or longer is called post juveniles. These are the 4 major sizes of fish you stock. For beginners, it's usually advisable you stock post fingerlings or juveniles, or even post juveniles, because it is easier to handle. They don't die easily. But fingerlings, if you don't handle them very well, they can die off. But the good thing about fish farming is that the mortality rate is not as high as that of poultry. So if you take good care of them, you manage the water well, then you are going to be dispersing fish disease and treatment, and you have a good knowledge of them, you hardly encounter even 5% mortality in fish farming. Then stocking density. What number of fish can you stock in a pond? You have different ponds of different sizes. So when you know the size of a pond, you know the number of fish to stock. So it's usually advisable that you stock 40 to 50 fish per meter square. That, for example, now if you have a pond of 1 meter by 1 meter, for fingerlings, 40 to 50. Then you can have a pond of 1 meter by 1 meter. For juveniles and post-juveniles, 25 to 35. So now, when you have a pond of big sizes, let me say 4 meters by 5 meters, you times it will be 20 meters. You times it by 25 or 35, if you want to use 35, you get the total number of fish that is supposed to be in that pond. Then, overstocking is something many young farmers do that is not advisable. Don't ever overstock your pond. If a pond is meant to take 200 and you put 250 or 300, you're overstocking the pond. Yes, at the beginning, fingerlings of 1,000 can stay in one pond that an adult fish of 200 can stay. But as they grow, they need more space. And even in poultry, space is good. It's very, very crucial in any animal farming. Space. Without enough space, they will struggle to survive. Even if disease comes, it will kill many. That's why spacing is good. Don't joke with it. Don't overstock. Once you want to stock and you are told that this particular pond can take around 500 fish, put only 500. Or except you have spaces where you can decongest them. But if you don't have, don't risk it. Because what will happen is that at the end, they will eat as if they will eat normal. But to grow as if they are supposed to grow will be very hard. That's why you don't ever overstocking. So there are consequences of overstocking. It brings about increased competition, both for food and for space. They compete so much to eat. Thereby, you see many growing more than some. That's why you see after 6 months, 6 months, some fishes will be very big, while some will be very small. You'll be wondering, are they the same mates? Yeah, they are the same mates, but the management is the reason. So increased cannibalism. Catfish are cannibalistic in nature, in the sense that even if they are the same sizes, stocked together, and eventually one size grows more than the other, the bigger one can swallow the small one. That's cannibalism. So overstocking encourages cannibalism. Poor growth rates. If you overstock, they won't grow well. Quick water spoilage or water pollution. The water gets dirty fast. If water is supposed to last 1 week or 2 weeks, within 3 days, it's already smelling. That's because of overstocking. So feeding of fish. There are types of catfish feeds. You have natural feeds and commercial feeds. In natural feeds, you have maggots, you have grasshopper, other animals, termites, earthworms, snails. They are all natural feeds. Poultry intestines, fish intestines, they are all natural. Blood milk, they are natural feeds. But commercial feeds are compounded, produced artificial feeds, where you produce them from different materials, both plant and animal materials. That's what people normally use in catfish farming, commercial feeds. Then in commercial feeds, actually in catfish farming, even in any animal farming, natural feeds grows fish or any animal faster. If you feed your fish more of maggots, they will grow faster. And that is why when you see a fish that swallows another fish, within the space of 2 weeks, it will grow very fast, very quick. That's the effect of eating natural food. But the challenge is that the natural food is not readily available and is expensive. Except you know how to produce your own. If you know how to produce maggots, then go for it. Then another secret in using natural feeds is that know the season. This is we are getting close to the season of termite. So when you start seeing them, you can go and buy them in bulk. If you want to go to Nkwo, Ibagwa, Oroba, anytime you see that there's this thing, the maggot is out, go to the this thing market, any village market, you see many of them, whether fried or whether roasted or be fried or live one. Buy them and go and feed your fish. You buy it cheaper because you are buying everything in the market, or tell them that you want to buy all these things. How much? The price well, go and feed your fish. You see that you can feed them in the morning, in the evening, you feed them artificial feed, just like that. In time, they'll have a good growth rate. So, in compounded or commercial feeds, you have two types. You have floating and sinking feeds. Floating, when you put it in the water, it comes up. Sinking, it goes under the water. So, most of the feeds you see in the market are floating. But if you produce your own, they will be sinking. The one we produce on Saturday will be sinking because we don't have the machine to make it to float. We have extruder. Extruder is a machine used to make feeds to float. So we don't have it. But we have pelletizer. Pelletizing machines are machines used to mold feeds into these shapes. Feeding time. When do you feed your fish? All these things are very important because if you don't feed them at the right time, the feeds will not digest well, and the conversion rate, the feed conversion rate, will not be good. Catfish, they usually eat around 8, 9 in the morning and 5, 6 in the evening. So it's advisable you give them 8 hours break, except their fingerlings and fries. Fries, the ones in the hatchery unit. Small, tiny, tiny ones. But when you bring a fingerling, or a batch of fingerlings, you can give them 3 times. That's around 8, around 1 or 2, and around 5, 6 in the evening for like 1 month. But if you bring juveniles and post-juveniles, you can give them 3 times for 1 week, just for them to be acclimatized to the environment. Then you start giving them 2 times a day. It's advisable any fish of these sizes and above should eat 2 times a day. If you give them 4 times, they'll eat. It's just like getting feed and throwing to the birds. Anytime you throw, they'll eat. Anytime you throw, they'll eat. They don't know when they are satisfied. That's why you don't force them to eat. Just give them what you feel it's okay. And you see they will do well. But if you give them 3 times, they will eat, and at the end you say you wasted a lot of feed, but they didn't give you what you want. So overfeeding can even cause stunted growth because the nutrients they need is in excess. And for example, in humans, anybody that eats too much goes to toilet much, uses the latrine much. The same thing. When they eat too much, they waste it. Their water gets polluted so fast. That's why you should be careful when you feed, that you don't overfeed. Then the quantity of feeds to be given. Some people will say 5 to 10% body weight, but actually you can't be weighing their feed every time you want to give them. So it's when you come, maybe you always choose one side of. Assuming this is a pond, you always choose one side of the pond to feed them. So you observe them properly to know when they are sick and when they are doing well and when they are agile. So you give them food, you just throw the food inside the distance. As they take it, from the beginning you see the rush. When they are getting tired, when they are getting killed, the rush will not be much again. So you start reducing. Once you see that they are not picking as much as they should, in the evening you repeat. That's how you give them morning and evening. Then don't give them too early, around 6 or 7. No. They might not eat it very well because of the cold weather. And sun helps in metabolism for them. Or if you're a worker, you can give them 7, 7:30 before you leave. Then give them earlier in the evening. But always allow 8 hours of good digestion. Feed sizes. There are different sizes of feeds. Both the ones you give them at the hatchery unit and the ones you give them at the grow-out farm. You have from 0.2 mm to 9 mm. So 0.2, 0.8, 1 mm, 1.5 are usually used in the hatchery unit for fingerlings and fries. Fingerlings down, fries, post fries, and fingerlings. But from 1.5 to 2 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm are usually given to grow out fish. Fishes at the grow out farm. So it takes 5 to 6 months for catfish to get to table size. We are not talking about the growth duration of growth. So when you get a fingerlings or fingerlings, it takes them 5 to 6 months to get to table size. But if you have a good water management system, that's catfish requires water, enough water. If you have enough water, either a borehole or a stream or spring water or well, then you enjoy catfish farming. With that, you change water almost weekly. And you will see that even in 4 months and you get market size catfish, 1 kg, 1 point something kg. In 6 months, they're almost getting 1.5 kg. But if you don't have enough water management system, it will be hard to get 1 kg and above within 5 months. Some people make it even when they don't have water. But the only thing is that they don't stock too much. They reduce their stocking quantity. Consequences of overfeeding. When you overfeed your fish, what happens is that when you give them too much and you notice that there are so much feed left on the water, those feeds will melt and enter the water. Except you rake them out and put them under the sun to dry. Then you can use them, you can refeed them with the feeds again. If not, the feeds will decay inside water, and when they decay inside water, they pollute the water and spoil the water. So overfeeding causes wastage of feed, which you know that the feeds are expensive. It causes water pollution because the feeds decay and pollute the water. That's why you don't overfeed. It's better you underfeed fishes than to overfeed them. Overfeeding can kill. Low dissolved oxygen level. As the feeds are decaying, it takes oxygen to decay. So the oxygen the fish needs to survive will be taken away from them. So overfeeding increases the ammonia level. Ammonia. Then increase bacterial load, which can cause diseases. So changing of water in the hatchery in adult catfish farming, in changing water, it's usually done once a week or more, depending on the quantity of fish you stocked in a particular pond and the level of water. If the size of the pond is this, maybe the height of the pond is this, the water level is usually up to this level. But ponds are not usually this tall. Ponds are usually from here to here. So if it is here, the water level is somewhere here. With that water level, your water can stay 6-7 days, even 8 days. Then depending on the fish sizes, adult fishes get the water changed more frequently than smaller fishes. Smaller fish can even stay 2 weeks without the water getting polluted. So washing of ponds depends. You don't normally wash earthen ponds, but you wash tarpaulin, plastic, and concrete ponds. For concrete ponds, some people wash once a month. For tarpaulin ponds, once in a week. Every time you're changing water, you're washing the pond. Even when the fishes are inside there, you can't match them because they're always small water for them to always run away from the matching. So once you notice your pond is dirty, wash. Once you notice green algae by the sides of the pond, wash them. We talked about cannibalism. As you can see, there are two fishes in this first basin. The bigger one has the smaller one in its mouth. That's what we call cannibalism. When we are sorting the fish, we noticed that the stomach was bigger. So we had to press the stomach, and the small one started coming out. It's already dead. So if you check the second basin, you will not see the bigger fish with the smaller fish inside. They are age mates. But unfortunately, the other one is gone. That's cannibalism. And if you see the size of the bigger one, it's even far bigger than the smaller one, showing that it has been swallowing and it's shooting out. We call them fishes that grow more than their mates are called shooters or shootouts. So cannibalism, you have to head cannibalism and kill cannibalism. Head cannibalism, whereby the bigger fish swallows the smaller one from its head and it swallows it whole. While tail cannibalism, the bigger swallows from the tail. That's the two major types of cannibalism. Factors that encourage cannibalism: infrequent feeding. If you don't feed them steady, the bigger ones get hungry and tend to start swallowing the smaller ones. Stocking of fishes of different sizes. If you don't stock them when they are of uniform sizes, there will be cannibalism because the bigger ones will always grow faster. They will compete more for food. They will grow faster and they will swallow the smaller ones. And that's why you can see someone that stocked 1,000 fish. At the end, the person will be seeing 700 and something. Nobody stole his or her fish. It may be as a result of cannibalism, and which was caused by lack of sorting, infrequent feeding, and stocking of fish of different sizes. So how to reduce cannibalism? The opposite. Feed on frequently. Frequent feeding helps minimizes cannibalism. Stocking of fish of uniform sizes helps minimize cannibalism. Frequent sorting of fish also helps to minimize cannibalism. So in the sorting, you normally use sorting board. What you see there in the white listing board has two openings. So if you bring some fish, you put inside the board, the bigger ones one side, the smaller ones one side. You see two basins where they are falling into. You just put little water in the basin. After sorting, you now put them in different ponds where they are supposed to be. Bigger ones should go to the bigger ponds, smaller ones should go join their mates in the smaller ponds. When you do it like that, you see that they will grow uniformly. And with time, you sort the smaller ones, bring out the bigger ones, put where their sizes are. Fish kills and fish diseases. Fish kills and fish diseases. Fish kills means things that can kill fish in fish farming. Some of them include overstocking of pond, algae blooms, algae blooms are usually caused by too much feeding when their feet decay with the help of the sun. If algae grows too much in the sun, when there is too much algae in the water, it's called algae blooms. Overfeeding, the other one is overstocking, this one is overfeeding. Then ammonium poisoning. Ammonia gets into the water from their feed and from their feces. So when you feed them too much, the decayed feet deposit ammonia in the water, which in turn, over time, the ammonia will poison them. And one of the signs of ammonium poisoning is swollen belly with yellow patches on the abdomen. So that's why it's always good to underfeed than to overfeed. Then, fish disease and parasites is another thing that can cause mortality or death in a fish farm. So, treatment of fish diseases. There are many kinds of fish diseases, but their treatments are also different. But there are methods of preventing them than treating them. It's better to prevent than to treat. So, in preventing them, within 2 months of stocking, you can go for potassium permanganate. If you go to any of these places that they sell laboratory equipment and materials, you can get potassium permanganate. Use it to treat them. How to use it is it's usually in a powder form. You can get maybe 1 teaspoon, bring a 20 liters, fill it with water. Then 1.5 or 2 of the teaspoon, put it inside the water. Mix it very well to turn something like brownish or just like a GD. Then you can reduce the level of water in the pond to half. Then sprinkle it on the water. Then allow it for some time, like 30 minutes. Then increase the quantity of the water again. You have helped in the prevention of the disease. When the disease occurs, that potassium permanganate is also very, very effective. Within days of the disease manifestation, you see that they will start healing. So we also have what we call over-the-counter medication, OTC. When you go to any feed store, any place they sell fish feed, and tell them that you're looking for fish cure, fish biotics, many of them They will give you. But usually they'll ask you what is wrong with your fish, what are the signs you are seeing. When you tell them, they'll give you one that will serve for that particular purpose. Generally, water therapy is the best in the sense that you change, if you see any pond that is affected, maybe the fishes in that particular pond are dying, or you are seeing signs of fish diseases, even after treating them, it is important you change the water frequently, like 2 days. 2 days. With that, we call it water therapy. You are flushing away the bacteria or the infection out and giving them new water. Even after treating, treatment usually lasts. If you are using over-the-counter medication like fish cure, fish biotic, or potassium permanganate, you give them for up to 3 to 5 days. After that, you focus on water therapy, continuous change of water. With that, you see that they'll be okay. But fish disease does not usually occur if you are good in water management and prevention by using of potassium permanganate or even fish cure or fish biotics. Disinfection of ponds. When you notice that maybe a particular pond was infected previously and you want to use it again, it's necessary to disinfect it. You wash and disinfect. You either disinfect with salt or formalin. These are the two major chemicals that are used, salt or formalin. Salt, in the sense, it will be very concentrated. You can get the 20 liters bucket, put half. Then buy industrial salt, 50 kg bag of salt, or go to the market, buy enough salt. When you pour it in the water, and you can't even test it because it's very concentrated, you now use it to sprinkle around the pond. Then, but if you notice that the infection is so high, you can go for formalin. When you get formalin, you neutralize it with water, then use it to sprinkle around the pond. Leave it for like a day or two, so that sun will shine on it. The pond should be dry, no water in the pond at all. Then you sprinkle it, leave it for some time. Then you come back and wash the pond, flush away the water, flush again. Then you can now put water and stock your fish back. So that's all for fish farming. If we have any question, you can ask then to answer you.
So do you use the whole quantity that is that 20 that you use for that?
Yeah, depending on the size of the pond. For example, if the pond is let me say from this space now to here, I use 20 liters in it. I don't forgetting it. But if it's smaller, I use half or three quarter. In the previous breeding season of the previous stocking had a lot of infections and you want to stock again. So you have already discharged all the fish from the pond. So when you are disinfecting, there should be no fish in the pond. Because the salt will be very concentrated, it will affect the fish. Any fish that salt touches will not survive. Tomorrow we will see it in the processing and drying. Because salt is what you use in the sliming. To remove the slime, you know, catfish has so much slime. So salt is what you use in doing it. So the fish will not be dead. Stocking density is, for example, let me use an example. The same density here. From here to here, it's like I think 4 meters. So if you have a pond that is from here to here and from there to here, square. So 4 by 4, 4 times 4 is 16. That's 16 square meter pond. That's the size of the pond. You measure the size, the length, and the you times it. 4 times 4 is 16. So assuming you want to stop with fingerlings, you can decide that your fingerlings are, you can take 50 fingerlings per square meter. So 50 times 16. Can you times it? 50 times 16 is the stocking density that you can put in that pond. If you want to go for juveniles. We can do 35, 25 to 35, 35 times 16,
First one is
800. That means 800 fingerlings can be here. But as they grow, you depopulate them or you decongest them. So an adult fish that can be here, adult stocking density is around 10 to 15 fish. So if you do 15 times 16, you get the population of adult fish that can stay in that size of pond. Do you understand? Okay, thank you.
Here, the pond, it was there, nothing's happening there. So the person wants to start again. How the person disinfect?
If your pond has been fallow, maybe 6 months, 1 year, and you want to start again, depending on the kind of pond. If it's a concrete pond, you can, or even a tin pond, you can fertilize, whereby you put water to almost the top of the pond, then you put your manure in a bag. You fertilize the pond, leave it for 2 weeks. You can fertilize after even washing the pond. But if you are sure that there was infection in the previous season, then it's necessary to use formalin to disinfect. Remove all the water in the pond, get formalin. Formalin has different concentration, or you can get 40% formalin and add, maybe you get 2 cups of formalin, add more water, put it in 20 liters bucket of water. Use it to sprinkle around the pond. Allow it for maybe 1 day or 2 days. Then come and wash it off. Rinse the pond again and then fertilize. The fertilization, pond fertilization is done in sense that this is a pond, but ponds are not usually of this tall. If I stand on a pond, close to a pond now, the pond can be this height or here. But if I want to construct, I usually construct here. So that if you are filling water, you fill water to this level. Are you forgetting it? So if you fill the water, usually you don't fill water to this level. If you want to fertilize, you fill higher, close to the mouth of the pond. When you fill it water, you get this rice bag. I told you this 25 kg rice bag. Fill it, maybe half of it or 3/4 of it. Fill it with manure. Whether poultry manure, cow manure, any manure at all. Tie the mouth. Cross a stick on the pond. Then tie the manure on that stick so that the bag will hang. The manure will be dropping. Sometimes if you perforate, you use rod to perforate the bag so that the manure can always drop in the water. As it's dropping, with the help of the sun, it's decaying. Microorganisms are entering the water. Aquatic insects will come. Mosquitoes will come and lay eggs. You see mosquito larvae inside the water. Maggots, flies will lay their own eggs. Maggots will be inside the water. So all these animals and other microorganisms will be eating off some other bacteria and if it is cement, they feed on the cement and all these chemicals. So they will help treat the pond for you. So that's fertilization. You leave it for 2 weeks, 14 days. After 14 days, even 10 days, at 10 days, even after 7 days, you will start seeing some animals inside, like aquatic animals inside the water. You come and observe very well. So, but after 14 days, you remove it.
Throw away the water.
You throw away the water if, let me say, if it's the first, if you walked newly on the pond, you wash off the water. But if it is a pond that you have been using before, you can stop your fish inside it. The fishes will feed on those animals without anything happening. That's pond fertilization.
But the bags, we need to mass of water or just hanging.
It will be hanging, but inside the water. But the rope tied on it and onto that stick will cross on the pond. Will help it to hang. Why it's hanging is that so that the manure can always fall and spread around. If it's stagnant on the bottom of the water, the manure will just be at that area.
But what of instead of tying the manure on your bag, what of if you just spread them manually? If you spread them manually,
You might not know if there will be enough. And if you spread so much, it might be too much. And if you want to wash off, it will be hard. But now, if you want to wash off, you just remove the bag. Then you wash off. The ones that will drop, they are very small. So you can easily wash off. Even one bag can be used to fertilize up to 3 times. That's why when you sprinkle, you are wasting the manure. If you want to fertilize again, you start using another manure. So any other question? Yes. Understocking actually depends on your reason for understocking. But as you know in business, you can see that, you can see that. In business, when you, for example, if I stock 100 pieces of fish and produce 100, someone that produces 20 will spend more in producing that 20, unlike me that produces 100. So understocking will help your fishes will do well, they will enjoy the spaces. But the cost of producing just 20, if you consider it to the cost of producing 100, you see that in 100 you make more gain, in as much as the cost of production is higher than that of 20. But you see that producing 20 will be more costly. Are you getting it? So understocking is not entirely bad, except you don't have money, enough money to stock as much as you want. But where the issue comes from is overstocking. Overstocking can make you lose money because they'll have stunted growth. Then another thing I'll talk on is knowing the right breed. Very, very important. You don't just go and tell anybody to give you catfish fingerlings or catfish post fingerlings or any seed at all to stock. And one funny thing in it all is that just like people that are rearing chicks, buying poultry chicks for their poultry farm, you don't know the one that is the right breed. If a farmer tells you that this is the best, he's telling you that it's the best. But actually, when you go to farm the fish or to rear them, you see that it's not the best. So, knowing a farmer that is credible, that is trustworthy, is the best thing that can guarantee that this is the best breed. So, you don't know the best breed with your eyes. You only know the best breed by practice. When you stock it and they are doing well, yeah, you know that these are the best breeds. Are you forgetting it? So, always deal with trustworthy farmers because farmers are very cunning. When I was into fingerling production, I don't hatch with any fish that is below 3 kg. If it is below 3 kg, it will not be below 2.5 kg. And my 2.5 kg fish is usually male. While my female is usually 3, 4, even 5 kg fish. Because it's simple psychology. So any fish that is up to a year should be above 2 kg. And good stocks that are up to 3 kg, their children will be growing fast. It can't be that big and these children will not be growing fast. So and that's nobody has ever bought fingerlings from me then that regretted it. There was a man I gave my 100 pieces to test. After he called me that I would bring one from my farm and one from his farm to crossbreed for him. So knowing farmers that produce fast growing species is the best way of getting a good stock. Though some people tell that it's the best and at the end it's not even a good stock. Why there is a huge scarcity of fish this year in Nsukka is that Edo Gaizimo is one of the biggest fish farms in Nsukka. Over 15,000 stocks he has are stunted. They didn't grow well, even after 6 months. So a very big loss. They are feeding it, thinking it's a good stock. At the end, it's not a good stock. So please, yes,
So is there no way you can indicate the best or the best among fishes?
you can't. Just like, just like children, you cannot know someone that is that will be tall and someone that will be a dwarf at childhood. Very hard.
about floating feet and the sinking one. But you say the sinking like when you pour the sinking one, it will decay and it will bring the kind of disease. But you are producing sinking feet. Then how can you buy that idea?
Sinking feet, they don't just decay. They can only decay when you give excess. That's why it's advisable you go for floating feet because you know the quantity you are giving. You know when they finish it, you know. But for sinking feet, once you put it, they go under. Are you forgetting it? So if you are using sinking feet, you should know the quantity you give them. And you know that quantity by before maybe you are using floating and maybe you give them one bowl, they finish it. Then when you want to use sinking, same one bowl, even smaller, lesser than one bowl. But the sinking feet we are going to be producing is for practicals and to help you complement it with the feed you have in the market. It's not advisable to feed your fish from day one with the feed you produced yourself because you are not certain your feed is the best, except you have tested and you are sure that your feed, the own fish you feed you manufactured grows your fish so well. Then good. But most people, when they produce, they still buy from the market, they mix it and give their fish. Most people, at the first 2 or 3 months, they give commercial feeds, the one we produce in the market. Then towards the harvesting period, they now produce their own feeds, mix it with the one in the market and give. Because that sinking feed actually gives the fish much weight, unlike floating one. So that's why when you see a fish during harvest, to be very heavy.
You talk of maybe the male fish like yes, the big one. How do you know about which one is female and what is
And which one is male? I'm coming. So, what you are seeing here is a picture of the under or the abdomen or the stomach region of a fish. In the stomach region, if you look well, there's what we call the genitalia. The genitalia, that's the genital organ. So in the male, the genital region is taller, just like the penis is taller. For the female, it's short, almost 1/3 of that of the male. So if you see those two stuffs, if it is short, almost flat, you know that it's a female. If it is tall, it's a male. Then another thing is the abdomen. For a matured female, the abdomen used to be big because of eggs inside. But sometimes you see males that are still very big. When you turn the other, you see that they are males because they have fat, enough fat inside. So that abdomen can be deceiving. I don't forgetting it. Any other question? Yes. Yes. The kind of pond affects the growth. Some people says that earthen pond is the best, but it requires water. In an earthen pond, your fish will do so well if you feed them well and if you change water so well. Are you forgetting it? But in a concrete pond, your fish will still do very well if you change them well and if you manage them well, feed them well and change water so very well. But the advantage of an earthen pond is that the bottom or even all the sides, especially the bottom, is soil. So the soil also takes off some of the harmful chemicals. I don't forget it. So it's how you, most times the water in an electric pond lasts more than the water in a concrete pond because concrete has surfaces that algae grow. Same thing with tarpaulin and plastic ponds. Algae is aquatic insects. That's why if you pour water and after some time you see green, green, green. They are algae. In electric pond, it's not usually like that because the soil takes up some of those things that enables the algae to grow. That's at the advantage. But that doesn't mean concrete pond does not do well. It's all dependent, mainly dependent on water changing and feeding, and also space.
So in that if they live in that case, that means in a concrete pond, someone can put put sand on it,
Yes, some people do it.
so that it still serve as an
Some people do it. You might bring mud sand or any sand that can still retain water and put in a concrete pond. But the disadvantage is during harvest or discharging of water. The sand will be blocking the outlet. But some people do it. So, because it doesn't change water by itself. In an earthen pond, you still have outlets. There is a farmer manager at New Market. The earthen pond is they have three or long. Then towards the gutter side of the earthen pond, there is a gutter. They use stream. Most earthen ponds, if you have a stream that runs at the back of your house, you enjoy your earthen pond. Earthen ponds that grow fish so well are the ones that flow through. Water is entering and water is leaving. So in that particular farm, at one side of the earthen pond is gutter. So towards that gutter side, the man did concrete very high, even higher than me. There. Then he used 2 inches pipes as outflow, as the outlet. In one pond, he has four of them. So if he wants to change water, you open two or three. Within 30 minutes, 45 minutes, the whole ponds, the whole water is out. So earthen ponds have outlets, but if it doesn't have outlets, you go for pumping machine to pump the water out when you want to change water. But earthen pond consumes more water than concrete. Depending on the size of the natural feed. For example, if you are going for grasshopper that generally they are bigger than fingerlings or almost the same size with fingerlings, you can cut them into pieces. Or you are giving them intestines of any animal, you can cut the intestines into pieces for fingerlings. And usually, if you are giving them maggots are almost they can eat maggots easily. Or you still crush them. Some people get maggots, dry them, grind them, and give them. Some people still dry grasshopper, crush them into pieces, and still give them. It requires practice, yeah, but in maggot production, there is a species of flies that you use, and that particular species is black flies. They grow bigger. The maggots grow bigger, unlike normal house fly you are seeing everywhere. So if you are using that one, you enjoy it because any small this thing uh, egg you get can give you so many maggots. So in maggot production, you get maybe one or two black flies for you to just to start with. That one will give you as many as you want. So usually you have to find it within this southeast, but in southwest you can get it when you want to get it. When you contact people there, they can send you waving it. You pay. People now sell flies, so everything is money. Seriously, people are making money, big money. I want to describe it now. Yeah. When you get the black fly, uh, there's usually a kind of thing, it's something they construct like a cage. Some, if you go to Southwest now, you can see a farm, maggot production farm. The only thing they do is maggot production. Some of them do maggot production and still have fish farm or poultry. They even feed poultry with maggots, only maggots, and they do well. Their chicken do very well. You can see a farm that has this kind of a structure. Maggots, that's what they produce inside. Then within this thing, they will do zinc. The whole side will be closed with nets, tiny nets that the flies cannot escape. Some of them, all these iron nets, then they use window nets to still go around it so that the fly cannot escape. Then you bring a bowl, put dunks, manure, water, any kind of manure inside. Make sure this thing is wet. The manure is wet. Then the flies are inside there. Maybe when you get the adult, maybe 3 adults, put it there. The flies will be fetching and they know they like that. So they come and fetch, lay eggs, fetch, lay eggs. Those eggs they lay will hatch, get into larvae. The larva stage is what we call maggot. And as they are growing, they grow bigger in sizes. That's how you still harvest them. In that basin, they have different, in a big distance, you see different basins. That's how you do it. Some people even use baskets so that the maggots can grow out. Then they put a kind of bucket. The bucket in put the bucket upside down, keep the basket on top of the bucket, then there will be a basin. As the maggots grow out, they fall inside the basin. After some time, you come and remove the basin, you see maggots. So it's not too hard, but you need a structure. And you need to be knowledgeable about it. So please, anything you want to learn or do, go and learn it. Even if it takes paying money to learn it. It will be good you learn it and do well than you are practicing without learning. The money you waste, the money you lose in practicing without learning will be so much that you wish, had it been I knew I would have gone to learn this. And the funny thing is that you cannot even learn all in practice without learning from people that already knows it before. So you know that.
By the time you are washing, you have fingernails. If you are brushing the water, is it not possible that you wash the fingers?
It's possible, but for example, if the outlet you are using is 1 inch pipe, or let me say 2 inch pipe or 1.5 inch pipe, and the fingernails can pass through, there's a way you get another pipe, perforate the pipe, get another pipe like this, perforate it with holes, hot rod of this size, then use it to perforate the pipe, many holes, put it inside the outlet. When you on the tap, the water will be passing. The fingernails can't pass through those holes. That's one. Two is that you can, when your outlet is out like this, maybe from here, this is the pond. The outlet is here. You can get a net and tie at the mouth of that outside the outlet. The fish can pass through. But the disadvantage of this one is that the fingernails can get stuck. The pressure of the water can kill them. So that's why the first pipe I described is the best. When you put it, long pipe, if the water level is here, the pipe will be getting here. Then the perforation will not be so long. Maybe just small. The water will be passing through. As it's reducing, it will be passing through. So the perforation is close to the down part of pond. With that, it will not pass through. Any other question? Any other question? We have 18 minutes to go, but I think we should round it up here. Let's go and rest. Tomorrow, we'll be discussing catfish processing, drying, and packaging. We'll be very fast in that, so that we'll discuss business grant application, learn how to apply for grants, how to make anything you are doing. That one is general. It must not be fish, it must not be agriculture. You have grants for many businesses. You have agriculture. Some grants are specific to agriculture, while some are general. Some grants are even, I know a particular grant that anybody can apply, NGOs, businesses, researchers, academics can apply for it. So tomorrow we'll be discussing fish processing, drying and packaging, and business grant application. So you don't miss it. I started business because of grants. I'm still in business because of grants. Though even without grant, I will survive. But that grant has given me leverage to do more. Please, thank you. Invite your friends. So tomorrow is going to be a special one. Thanks a lot.